Hello and welcome to this 10-minute business talk on how to power network like a pro, presented by Midwest Business Consulting. If you have any business development responsibilities within a company, you're undoubtedly familiar with the importance of networking. And while most professionals acknowledge this importance, few do it and still fewer do it well. In addition to growing the business, a well-developed network can be key to recruiting talent and tapping into valuable peer expertise and other industry resources. First, in order to talk about networking, we need to establish some working definitions. A network refers to a collection of individuals or organizations which are all connected together in some manner. Networking then refers to deliberate efforts that are undertaken to build, grow, and strengthen the value of that network by consistently meeting new professionals and improving the quality of existing relationships. The first step to building a professional network is to be willing to meet with other professionals and learn about their businesses. I describe this as the business equivalent of planting seeds. As with gardening, you need to accept the possibility that not every single seed may grow. Some seeds may grow in 2 weeks, 2 months, or some may be 2 years. Some may grow big, small, fast, or slow. The only guarantee you have is if you don't plant, you won't grow anything. In order to build a robust network, you need to maintain a dedicated effort and a consistent focus on just a few simple principles. The first thing I can say is, be prepared to be patient. Networking is a marathon, not a sprint. Too often I see people try networking for 2 weeks and give up because it simply didn't work. Next, remember that while introductory calls are fast and convenient, face-to-face meetings are always best when possible. In-person exchanges are the richest form of communication and will help you to build a stronger network much faster. Also, remember that networking is a two-way street. You should be prepared to listen and learn about the other party and listen about as much as you talk. Next, and perhaps most important, leave the heavy sales pitch at home. The purpose of networking is to get to know more about each other and explore potential synergies. Regardless of what your sales coach may have told you, I can assure you that almost no one likes being sold, and people hate being ambushed by a pushy sales pitch. One of my rules in making introductions is always no sales. It's off-putting and it's counterproductive. By no means do I need to say that selling is off the table. If the other party opens the door, feel free to shift hats. But as a general rule, when I'm at a meeting and the subtle sales questions start bubbling up, my barriers start going up. And I always say that when my barriers are high, I shut down. You walk away knowing nothing about me, including how you may have been able to help me, and I walk away ticked off that I just wasted my time. So with selling off the table, you may be asking, what do I talk about? I generally suggest that you stick to what I call the big three. Who are you? What do you do? And who can I connect you to in my network that may be helpful to your business? And then, on the flip side of that coin, here's who I am, here's what I do, and here's who I'd like to connect with. One of the challenges many new networkers have is thinking of good connections for the other party. And that problem is usually a direct result of tunnel vision. When meeting with, say, a business banker, they quickly determine that they don't know anyone looking to change banks right now. The problem with this tunnel vision is, not only don't I know someone looking for a bank now, but I may not find that specific person for 8 months or 18 months. If you wait 18 months for me to think about you, you've already been long forgotten. This approach to networking relies on the law of numbers. That is, if you meet with enough people, eventually you may find that specific someone at that particular time when their bank has ticked them off just enough to go through the hassle of changing banks. Instead of wasting time asking people to look for a needle in a haystack for you, I suggest that networking should open the spectrum of what qualifies as a potentially fruitful business discussion. I commonly assert that good connections come in one of 4 flavors. First, of course, is a client. This is what we're all hoping for, and I ensure that I probe deeply enough to capture a good 360-degree view of the other party's ideal client. But it's important that we keep pushing. Who else can I connect you to in my network that may be a good fit for you? Who are your best referral partners? Where do you get your business from? This ordinarily opens the mind and the door to some great connections that might be overlooked. Just because a real estate developer or a business broker isn't looking to change banks today doesn't mean that they can't be phenomenal connections. Think outside the typical customer box. A third flavor is people that may want to meet you. With the understanding that you should not be making introductions for pushy sales, it's possible that people may want to meet you. They may want to meet business bankers because they may be a terrific referral partner, say for lawyers or wealth advisors. I generally suggest that everyone make time for business discussions, even those that may seem a bit off the beaten path. You never know what seed will grow into the great oak tree. The last flavor of connections are those that are just great connectors. If I know someone and that someone knows everyone, that's someone you want to know you. You should seek to meet with these people as well. I think most successful professionals would buy into the idea that people tend to do business with those that they know, like, and trust. And that means that productive networks are built on strong relationships. Remember that networking is about planting seeds, and neither grows overnight. Networking relationships require some effort to stay top of mind. These repeated touch points are key to building a great rapport with the other party. A quick and dirty rule is that it takes 7 to 11 touches for someone to know, like, and trust us. At that point, the relationship changes from some guy I had coffee with a few months ago to let me tell you about my good friend who I know will do a great job for you. And that's where the real fruit of networking lies. With that said, every touch point doesn't have to be a 60-minute cup of coffee. It would be really difficult to get any actual business done if that were the case. Great networkers recognize that anything that might help the other business grow is a great opportunity to forge a strong relationship. You might share a good opportunity or an interesting article, but one of the easiest things you can do to stay top of mind is to make good, value-added introductions. With this last point in mind, it's important to remember that networking is about establishing long-term relationships. I call this approach the drip method. Remember, our goal should be multiple touch points. Successful networkers recognize the opportunity to spread introductions out over a period of weeks or months. If I have 8 good connections, instead of sending all 8 emails on Monday, try sending one every week or every 2 weeks. By spreading the introductions out over a period of weeks or months, the burden of responding to 8 emails and scheduling 8 meetings is much more manageable. Also, it allows you to easily create touch points and stay top of mind. While many businesses are now throwing time and resources into monthly newsletters to stay top of mind, the unfortunate reality is that the strategy has just become too common. It's white noise at this point. Regardless of how great the information is, I simply get too many newsletters. I can't read them all. Instead of providing value, you're just sending me one more thing to delete, which is exactly what I don't need. Instead, give me something you know I want, a good, value-added business connection. Last, this approach allows you to ensure that the other party is responding back to the emails in a professional and timely manner before you go ahead and make a large number of introductions. A few other tips to get you networking on the right track. It's usually best to ask your contacts in advance if they'd be open to you making an introduction. This avoids confusion and ensures that the introductions you're making are poised to help your business as intended. When receiving introductions, respond quickly and professionally. A great way to get referred with confidence is to exude professionalism at every opportunity. Also, when meeting someone, be sure to arrive on time or call on time if it's a teleconference. In fact, if you're meeting in person, you should plan to arrive a few minutes early. You may remember an old commercial from the 80s telling us that you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Showing up late to a first meeting will diminish your perceived professionalism. I personally don't want to introduce people around in my network who I think may make me look bad. Next, do your homework ahead of time. Review any information that was provided in the introductory email. You can also find relevant information on the company website or on LinkedIn. See how else you may be connected. Some great business relationships have come from finding out that you went to school with someone's old neighbor. Also, it should go without saying, when you show up to a network meeting, be prepared to be attentive to the other party. That means putting your phone on silent and out of sight. And finally, as a summation point, I say, remember the golden rule. We all want to look like rock stars. When someone makes an introduction for you, make them look good. If you'd like to learn more about building successful and sustainable business models, please contact Midwest Business Consulting at 708-571-3401 or reach us by email at inquiries@getmbc.com. That's the word inquiries@getmbc.com. You can also find other 10-minute business talks at our website. Simply go to getmbc.com and use the menu to navigate to the About Us drop-down and click Blog. Stay connected with Midwest Business Consulting on social media. Thank you for listening.